You're right here in Galaxy 107 FM, 7 after 11 o'clock, 6 degrees. It's the hottest we've been all day. Heading for a high today, 12 degrees. Yeah, not good numbers, I tell you. Friday, July the 14th, coming into the weekend, and I couldn't celebrate it any better than Awaken the Giant with Livesay, joined by Greg Livesay, the man himself, new icon to rock and roll music. Good afternoon, good evening over there, good morning here.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to you.
It is a pleasure to be able to talk to you, my friend, and believe me, I am so excited about this because you are a very, very talented guitar player in your own right, and your band is such a talented band. Being an engineer, I listen very intently at the music, and I just can't fault you guys. I love your music, and we're getting so many requests for your music right now. It is just going ballistic. It's nice to have you with us. Now, I want to talk to you about Awaken the Giant. How did you come to the lyrics with that?
At that time, the bass player that was in the band, Alan, was our lyricist. Alan was a very voracious reader, and he's a history buff. So a lot of the things that he wrote about usually pertain to those subjects, you know, and he would come up with lyrics that were pretty much outside the box.
Now, it's also the title album that you released in 2010, I take it.
Yeah, the band had been, we had been playing out, we were active, but we hadn't done an album in a while, so people kept asking us, when are you going to record? And so when we did this album, we decided to call it Awaken the Giant, because we had been asleep for several years as far as recording goes. So.
You know, I really have a good feel with the albums, and let's run down them. Your first one, of course, way back in '96, self-titled album, and I don't blame you for doing that. It's a good way to start into the market. Then you had The Darkest Hour. Now, tell me about The Darkest Hour. Was it completely something that affected you right from the start? You had to call the album that?
You know, after we did the first album, we were kind of coming, out of the 90s into the later part of the decade, and we wanted to get a little bit heavier than what we were doing. So we definitely wrote heavier songs. And I can't tell you how we came up with Darkest Hour. I mean, I know there's a castle on it, and there's a shield with the band, I think My Name is on it, or whatever her name, and then I think there's even a dragon overhead. I don't know what we were thinking at the time, but it seemed fitting at the moment.
You know, I think it's actually quite timeless, to be very honest with you. When I had a look at the album myself, I thought, you know, this is perfect, it's great. Then, of course, you went into Awaken the Giant, but right now, you're doing a whole new album called Frozen Hell. Now, tell me about that. Why did you call it Frozen Hell?
Well, that's a very interesting story. The person, the record label president and I knew each other from many years ago, and we hadn't spoken in many years, and I think that it was kind of like we were thinking we would never work with each other. You know, the day I work with him, hell will freeze over. So, as it turns out, we ended up working with each other, and we decided to call it Frozen Hell. That's where it came from.
Fair enough. Didn't the Eagles do something similar to that?
I think, Hell freezes over, when they would get back together again.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I can absolutely relate to where you're coming from. Now, of course, we are talking, folks, to Greg Livesay. He's the guitarist in the band. Then we got Anthony Stoll. He plays keyboards, and Tim Huntington, the drummer. I always think the drummer is the hardest working member of the band, simply because he's forever going, and always the first one in the gym. And Matt Mahoney, the bass player. Love his work. Now, you've been playing now since you were 13 years of age, classically trained.
Yeah, I was classically trained for about 4.5 years, and with a very strict teacher who was pretty much a Segovia devotee. I was not allowed to play electric. It was pretty difficult. And as I got older, I wanted to get away from that and get into rock. So I kind of had to leave him, which was a little ugly, but I was able to, go off and do what I wanted to do. I don't really get in the classical. I loved it. It taught me a lot. It really did a lot for me.
Absolutely, and it absolutely shows in the quality of the work that you're producing right now. It is just phenomenal. It really, really is. And now you also opened up with Steve Morse in New Jersey. Tell me about that.
We did. We opened up for Steve Morse. It was Steve Morse, Dave LaRue, and I can't remember who his drummer was. It was the trio that he had at the time. He was not in the Dregs anymore. He's basically doing his own thing. And we got a shot to open for him. And I went down a week before and saw him at the Ritz in New York City. And I think I lasted about 6 or 7 songs. And he freaked me out so much because he's so unbelievable that I said, I have to get out of here. Because I was playing with him a week later. But he was the nicest guy in the world. He really was. I went upstairs, I got a chance to meet him after our set. And he was just a phenomenal guy, really. And an incredible guitar player. Everybody knows who he is, you know.
Exactly.
That was only our second gig when I formed the band. We had done one before. That was our second show, so that was something.
Yeah, basically unheard of. You don't get people asking you to play with them that soon in your career, to be very honest with you. I think you landed on your feet right away.
Yeah, it was pretty good, and we only had done like a demo tape back then, but a lot of people really liked it, and that's how we got the gig.
Now, tell me about Tony. Tony plays the keyboards, but that's not where his talent lies, really. He's an accomplished writer. He also plays bass and the violin as well. Very talented man.
Extremely talented. Tony is a very smart guy. I don't say that, loosely. He's really analytical. He's very calm and he's very methodical about the way he approaches everything, whether it's writing. He's also great with recording. He knows gear, he knows sounds, and he's played a big role in directing me to certain areas where I'd be going off to the left and he said, no, you have to be to the right, and that type of thing. But we played together so long that we basically answer each other's sentences at this point. He's phenomenal. I'd be lost without him, really.
I understand, and I really absolutely get where you're coming from with Tony, because believe me, a nice guy, a very, very nice guy. Now, tell me about Flesh and Blood, because this one intrigues me. I really like this song, and I noted at some stage, you noted it was one of your favorites.
That was another concept song that Alan wrote. I mean, I liked the whole storyline was about the man in the iron mask. I think that's where he was coming from as far as writing that whole story. And I just like the technical aspects of it. At that album, we were really trying to show that we could play as a band. We were more technically involved on that record than we were on some of the other ones. We've dialed it back since, but that song in particular, just a lot of people liked it. I think they liked the storyline, I think they liked the lyrics, and I think they liked the overall solos in the middle. There's a cool solo section in there, so, definitely get everybody a chance to show off and what they can do, I think.
I can see the quality in this work. I really, really can. Just one question before we play. Do you think there is becoming a resurgence into the genre of music that you play?
Definitely in Europe, it's been there. As far as the United States go, it's tough to say. You have brands like Alter Bridge, and we were friends with Symphony X. They're still out there battling around the United States. I'm not so sure about the heavy prog, but I think what we were doing still has a audience in the United States. Europe for sure. Japan, yes. I think South America, all those places.
Yeah.
The United States is a different animal,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I understand it. Believe me, I talked to a lot of artists and performers in your era, in your sector of music, and they all say the same thing. Whereas we're finding here in New Zealand that there is starting to become a reinsurgence back into the interest of this particular genre of music, and we love it. We really, really love it. It's about time it came back again, and we don't want to let it go any further. So let's play Flesh and Blood right here at Galaxy. Here's Live Say.